People, what's going on? It's the Saturday night special. It's Coop. You're now tuned in to Hip Hop Talks. Sean and AG couldn't be with me tonight. They're old. Sean is having hip replacement surgery. I believe AG is coaching a soccer league game. But I'm here, and I'm actually blessed and honored. I actually have my brother, real brother in real life, Mike, with me. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm chilling, man. I've been wanting to do this with you for a long time. We get to talk about one of your favorite artists today, who has the #1 album in 42 countries right now. But before we do all that, we got to pay the bills first. I want to tell everybody, click like and subscribe to Hip Hop Talks. We're everywhere now. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on TikTok. I'm getting the Gram account started. I want to thank all of y'all. Chris, what up? I want to thank all of y'all for the support and the love. We're almost at 1,500. Let's get us to 1,500 in under 60 days. Let's do it. Hip Hop Talks is in the building. I got my brother Mike from Nashville. Mike, you're bringing a little bit of a younger flavor to the show, but you need to hope that you look this good when you're my age, quite frankly. So, you ready to go ahead and get into it? You got anything you want to say to the people?
Not really. Not unless it's about the topic of the album. I'm ready to get into it.
Well, let's go ahead. You ready to get into it? Okay. So, The Death of Slim Shady, Eminem's 12th studio album. You're an Eminem fan. You actually are the person. I don't know if you remember this. We had a conversation when you were probably about 17, 18, and you explained to me what M meant to this generation lyrically for your generation and who he is as an MC. So before we get into the album review, I want you to talk about like what Eminem represents as an MC for your generation and for the culture.
Even though he receives a lot of hate now, which I don't understand why, to be honest. I mean, I do, I guess, but like he's like, all jokes aside, like he's a lyrical miracle. So like he has complex rhyme schemes. His syllable count is pretty. Say that again.
No, keep going.
His rhyme schemes are complex, but they're also very simple. I think he's one of the best to do it. I think he gets a lot of flack because he's white, if I'm just being honest. But I don't think that should be a reason to judge him. I'm personally, like I said, I'm a fan of all his work, all of it.
All of it? Like all 12 albums?
Not Encore. If I'm being honest. There's certain songs on there that I like, but like, yeah, I gotta say, I aside from Encore, I'll listen to all his albums. Like, I still would listen to all his albums.
I don't agree. I think that his album catalog is suspect at times in relationship to how he gets rated as an MC, and quite frankly, for the quality of MC that he is, and from what I heard of him on this album, I think that he maybe has 5 good albums. I would count this one as one of them, but I can't say that I like all of his albums. And explain to me why you like all of his albums and why it relates to you, because I've been having the conversation with our following that, yeah, he's great, but some of the problem is that he's not relatable. What is it that he talks about that you relate to, Mike?
Now, nothing. I just like hearing him rap now. The reason I like him, I think if you were an Eminem fan, you would realize that his growth, he's only trended in the way that he was going to trend. He's had a direction. Specifically, he had a specific direction in which he has rapped, and there, aside from this album, which was a nice flip, I didn't expect this from the album, but he only was going to the next step. What would be deemed his next step?
What is his next step?
From here, I don't know. I didn't expect this. This was like a grab from the past, but not in a bad way. Like, I think everybody wanted everybody kept talking about, oh, we want Slim Shady back. We want Slim Shady back. And I think this is the closest to Slim Shady being back as we're going to get. Um,
So okay, what do you say to the people, Mike, who say that, well, this is him just rehashing old material because he's out of material, like he did with the Marshall Mathers LP too? Because now in this 12 album catalog, we do have two second albums. Like we have two series. So we have Marshall Mathers LP and Marshall Mathers LP 2, and now we have the Slim Shady LP and the Death of Slim Shady. What would you say to those critics that say, well, he's just rehashing material and it's for shock value?
well, I would say, what rapper doesn't rehash their same material over and over again? For just being honest, like,
So you think he's getting
uh,
critiqued unfairly?
mm, yes and no. So like, I think people say that, oh, he's not saying nothing, but if you don't like him or you don't relate to anything that he has said in the past, then of course you're going to sit here and say, oh, he's not saying nothing. But if we're just being honest, a lot of rappers that have hit their southern peak aren't saying nothing anymore. They're just talking, and they're getting paid to talk. That's how I feel. I wouldn't say he's being critiqued unfairly. I think he's critiqued harsher, same scale, just a little bit harsher than other people. But maybe that's because he's just been doing it longer than other people, so they've expected more from him.
Mm. Well, let's get into the album then, Mike. What say you? You said that you've enjoyed all of his albums. Where does this album rank in his catalog? And then let's get into the when and the why and the how.
Well, I you said this is his top five, you would say?
Oh, definitely a top five album from him. Definitely.
What would be your other four?
Right now, off the top of my head, it's easy. The first three, so the Slim Shady LP, Marshall Mathers, Eminem Show. I thought Recovery was pretty solid. And so I would put Recovery, yeah. But I think this is better than Recovery. I don't know if it's better than the first three. I think it's arguable. Yeah, Sean just had to jump in the chat, even though he's having hip surgery right now. That's Sean putting his logo up. Shame on you, Sean. Um, I would have to say that it's better than Recovery. It might be better than the Slim Shady LP just because he's such, like, I don't think people understand on the Slim Shady LP, his timing isn't great in my opinion. And I think what a lot of quote unquote rap pundits do is go back to the Slim Shady LP and his timing being off and saying, well, he can't rap over traditional boom bap stuff. I find his timing to have improved and become more and more impeccable over time. And so, with that being said, I think this is a better mic performance, but of course, it doesn't have the same shock value as the Slim Shady LP, the original. So, my thoughts is that I would probably comfortably right now place it fourth in his catalog, but I think that changes things about his catalog and his placement, in my opinion. But you and I are going to kind of get into like where we differentiate him in terms of where we place him all time as well. Because for me, something like this is a quality enough product that I can say, oh no, might need to move you up a slot, because before I felt like you only had three great albums in like a possible. This kind of changes things. This is his fourth best album. Where would you rank it?
I would say third for me.
Really?
Yeah. For
What's
me,
your top
it's
five?
Marshall Mathers LP, Eminem Show. Then it would be this one. Um, I gotta
So you think
say,
it's
go
so
ahead.
you think it's that good?
I think it's good for the timing that it's come out and everything. Timing is everything. So yeah, with what he's dropped in recent past, yeah, I think this is one of his better works altogether. Um, but see, Slim Shady LP is not top five for me anymore. It used to be. It used to be. I would put, like, I prefer Music to Be Murdered by the deluxe edition specifically. The deluxe.
That album's terrible, Mike. Mike, that
I
album is
don't
terrible.
know. I don't know. It's opinion though. It's all opinion. It's all opinion. And recovery is up there. It doesn't have playability, like replayability, but I like specifically the deluxe edition. The first one, no, but the deluxe edition,
Mike,
you
I
don't
got
like
rules.
it.
Mike, I got rules. I'm gonna tell you what the rules are. If you have to like an album because it has a deluxe edition, it means the album
Then you
wasn't
don't
like
like
that.
the album.
Yeah.
Heard. Understood.
So what's your favorite parts of this album? What do you think of the production? I thought the production helped this album. I think one of the critiques about him is that he doesn't rap over boom bap beats. I found these beats to be like the types of beats that rappers rap to though.
I like the production. I wasn't expecting him to rap over these type of beats, if I'm just being honest.
Correct. Me neither.
And I wasn't expecting. I I would have liked a more actual hooks opposed to singing on the hooks or harmonizing, I guess.
So
But
I would push back on that because I've never found him to be a great hook writer. He's been solid. And so I think it's important, like with both of the albums we're going to discuss today, with the Common and with the Eminem, I feel like they actually did themselves a good thing by not doing the hooks really. I like the fact that it's kind of singing on here. I mean, for me, the weakest parts of the albums are actually the things that are going to obviously be singles, like because I can hear the singles. You know, there's there's the brand new dance. That's definitely a single. And temporary. Those are going to be the singles. Like it's just clear because when he goes into his single bag, like he just sounds different. And so I do feel like those are the lower points of the album. But what are some of the higher points of the album for you?
Renaissance, the way he started the album, I think was pretty strong. He started the album real strong.
I agree. I don't know if that's the best song. I think the joint that Dre only did 2 joints on here. That's what was most impressive about the production to me is that I can tell he executive produced it, but he only did 2 beats. Um, I think Lucifer might be the best track on here.
I like Lucifer and Antichrist.
Okay, so Antichrist to me, Antichrist is classic Slim Shady meets Marshall Mathers to me. Now, here's the thing. What do you think about people who say that he's rehashing this material and literally saying the same things that he was saying to start off his career, and that it just seems like it's shock value and there's no weight to the content? Because I think his mic performance in here is pretty incredible, but I think the content, depending on how you feel about it, I think he's always been one of those people. Either you can laugh at what he's saying, or you can be appalled by what he's saying. It appears that a lot of people are appalled by what he's saying. What do you say to that?
That means he did his job. He did what he wanted to do. He had a goal. I really feel like he had a goal. He was either going to make you, either you were going to rock with it or you were going to hate it, and you were going to really hate it. And he got people talking about him again. I mean, everywhere I go on TikTok, there's a live talking about how Eminem's trash, Eminem's overrated. And this is simply from the Houdini song. They've been doing that since the Houdini song had dropped, actually. So
Well, I think that's ironic because on Renaissance, he starts off talking about how critics are haters and how they always just going to hate his stuff anyway. So do you think that he's being unfairly judged? Because we have this conversation often on Hip Hop Talks about how, well, him being white helps him in some ways, but it also hurts him in other ways. What do you say?
yeah, I think so. I still don't think he's unfairly being judged. Like by the metric of the people who actually matter, I don't think he's unfairly being judged because his contemporaries are all so quick to give him his kudos and stuff like that. You know,
Who's
like his.
who are the people that matter? I mean, you make music for the people. Aren't the people who are critiquing it, don't they matter, or do they matter less? Like, do you mean his peers? What his peers think matters more than what we have to say? Is that what you're saying?
I guess I am. I mean, I'm not saying that what we have to say doesn't matter. I'm saying if it really mattered, then he wouldn't be doing sales. You know, he wouldn't be doing numbers if it really mattered. Like because of it, like at least the people that I talk to, I hang around my circles of people. The internet, what most of the internet, at least as far as my circles of people, are saying, is like he sucks, he's trash. This album ain't it, and it's like at this point I just believe you just don't like him, and you don't have nothing better to say.
You know, somebody said something striking to me that I thought to be kind of like to piggyback off your sales point, because they're like, you know, Coop, you always say that he sells because he's white. He's like, what about all the white rappers that don't sell like him? And I thought that might have been the strongest like pushback that I've heard for some of my commentary is the fact that, well, what is it about this white guy that these other guys, these other white rappers don't do his numbers like Action Bronson and MGK and all these other dudes, they don't do anything relatively close to M's numbers, and he's white too. So is it because of the machines behind him? Is he just so much better than these guys on the mic? Is he more compelling? Was he just here first in a lot of ways? You know?
Dang, that's actually good. That's a good pushback. You
It
want my
is.
response?
Yeah, I want to know what you think of that.
I personally think he's better than them. He has definitely been around longer, so that could be a thing. But probably more so than any of that is familiarity. Like familiarity plays a big role in going to listen to an album than anything else does, and I think people unconsciously don't even recognize that. Like I'm an Eminem fan, so like I will give it a shot, or I'll give it a couple play. I'll give an album a couple playthroughs um, before I'll be like, this ain't it for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that's based off of familiarity too. Like I grew up listening to him, amongst others. You know, amongst others. Um, Everybody can't relate to him, but I think a lot more people related to him than they care to admit too. You know, because that would mean that your parents is screwed up. You know what I mean?
So you know, I think that part of what makes the Slim Shady character so appealing to us in our community is because, well, we live in a veil of consciousness. We have duality role issues here as blacks in America. And so I think we tend to gravitate towards him more when he gets into his alter ego bag. It's just his alter ego bag, you know, makes Christopher Reeves and, you know, non-binary and trans jokes that it can it can hurt the premise of what he does try to do. You can say that, right? It's fair to say, like, for all these lyrical gymnastics, because he sounds great on this album, and I want to be clear. Like, if we're just talking like technically and fundamentally speaking, this is fundamentally speaking one of the best mic performances of the year.
Right. I agree.
You know, if we're talking technically, but what I'm saying is this is the content, is the Christopher Reeve joke being retread over and over again, keeping it from being the mic performance of the year. Because I feel like even with all of these issues, he is in contention for being lyricist of the year and for being MC of the year. Because this is a very strong mic performance. Like on Fuel, JID, shout out to East Atlanta, JID kills Fuel.
He does.
But then M comes. Like, I feel like both of those verses are verse of the year contenders. And, you know, this is where M is legendary to me. He has something in him that I think all really great MCs have. And that's like, hold on, you're not about to sun me on my record. And so you see him actually level up when he was next to JID. And I wish that the album, I think one of my biggest critiques, and I still think it's a strong album. Like, if I was just ranking it right now today, I'll tell you that this is one of the 15 best rap albums this year, maybe top 10.
That's good.
Well, you know, that's a lot coming from me.
Yeah, I know.
But I feel like that more tracks with more guest appearances actually could have helped him on this album, because it is mostly a solo mission and it's admirable. But I think in terms of the relatability of it, I feel like he should have maybe had more artists, because I feel like when he's with Big Sean on Toby, when he's with JID on Fuel, I feel like those are some of the stronger moments of the album from a hip hop head's perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I agree. I actually agree. I only heard Fuel once, but I was like, I had to text I text my friend Darren. He does music, and I'm like, it's like I don't know. That might be the best album on the song. I mean, the best song on the album for me. I was like, I
It's
really.
it's up there. It's up there. What do you think about just the whole concept and how the album flows and how he pieced it together? Because there are dissenting views even on that already. Some people feel that the flow and the concept is there and he delivers well. Other people think that it's disjointed and discombobulated. How did the flow of the album seem to you? Because for me, sequencing is super important.
It was almost seamless track to track. That's the crazy part. And but I'm a sucker for that too, though. Like when you play a song into another song, I'm a sucker for that. So it's like I'm biased on when I hear stuff like that. So I don't.
Not not being funny, I think you get that for me in the albums that I listen to because I like albums with seamless transitions.
Because I had to like literally look at my phone to see if the song switched it. Because I'm like, but I'm a sucker for that, so I have a biased opinion when it comes to that.
Hold on one
Also,
second. I'm gonna have to check T2 right quick. T2, we're not talking about Kendrick today. You're part of the worst fan base ever. We're not doing Not Like Us on Hip Hop Talks on the Saturday night special. You get Kendrick up out of here, T2. It's different when I'm moderating. Sean likes all of y'all. I don't feel that way. I will kick you out, T2. No more Kendrick. We're talking about Eminem, Calm, Pete Rock, little give and go, little pick and roll, bob and weave. Mike, what's the weakest song on this album?
Save me. It was a
Really?
perfect way to end the album. It's a perfect way to end the album, though. But it
So,
was
okay, so this is what I mean. So that's one of the more personable and actual songs that don't have any real antics to it. So are you saying he's not as good of a rapper when he's not pulling off his antics and making controversial statements?
no. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that was a little too personal. That's all I'm saying. Like it was personal, but it wasn't presently personal. Like he took it back to relapse encore. He took it back to that time zone.
This whole, I mean, this whole album is him kind of going back, isn't it? It's him going back into his old bag of tricks, right?
True, true. But that was a song about his addiction and stuff. You know, that's what that really was about. It was deep. It was real deep song. It's a perfect way to end the album. But I feel like you bring up your sobriety so much. You know what I mean? You shouldn't. I wouldn't have backtracked like that. Like that's just me personally. I wouldn't have backtracked like that. Like I wouldn't have took it to that spot where I was dark in my life. You already did it with Temporary. You already had a sad song with Temporary. We didn't need another song like that. He should have kept the tone that he was going with, or he should have kept the tone in which he was. He should have kept the tone he was going with and ended it on a higher note, not a deep lower note. It wasn't a bad song. It's just
You
for
don't think
me.
it fits? You
No,
don't think
it fits it's a perfect ending to the album, but it just wasn't what I was expecting for the end of the album. I thought it was going to end on a higher note, not that.
okay. So
Does that
this
make
is one
sense?
of my critiques. I actually feel like after Guilty Conscious 2, the album needs to end right there. Because I think Fuel, Renaissance, like the best tracks on there, Lucifer, I feel like Guilty Conscious 2 is up there. And with how the actual ending to the song goes, I feel like that's where the album actually needs to stop.
With the killing of
Yeah, because if it's the death of Slim Shady, why the fuck you do 4 more tracks after that?
what if he switched the tracks around?
Well,
Or
I think one of the issues that I have with this album is the sequencing. Actually, like it's a strong album. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely better. It's better than anything he's done since Recovery to me. And that was like what is that 2010,
that's 2010. Yep.
2010? Yeah. So it's been a minute since he sounded this good to me. But I still do see issues with it, and I take bigger issues with it when somebody like Dr. Dre is the one that's executive producing your product. Like I do feel like this song sequencing should have been like put together a little bit better. And I feel like this song, and I say this a lot on here, well, they should have cut some records from here. I feel like you could have cut Save Me. I feel like you could have cut Temporary. Like, how about this? You could have cut all the singles or the stuff that probably is going to be singles, and I actually think you have a much stronger product. My thing with him always trying to make singles is that, well, you're one of the few guys that or girls that doesn't have to make singles. You know what I'm saying? Because like he's Eminem. This was going to be number one in all these countries without any sort of Houdini or Dance with Me or Temporary or like it was gonna be number one regardless. So it's like, why not get all the way into the conceptual album bag? Because I feel like these songs that feel like singles, I think they disrupt the flow of what he's trying to do conceptually.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Because it was going. Yeah, I agree. I don't have no pushback on that.
What do you rate this album?
8 out of 10.
Out of 10. Well, actually,
8.
no. We don't do really that over here, Mike. This is hip hop talk, so we kind of got a mic rating system. So like we giving it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. You know what I'm saying? You can do a half, like you can do a 3.5 or a 4.5.
I'll do a 3.5.
Hold on. Okay, so Mike, this is my whole point. If this album is a 3.5, and this is one of his 5 best albums, isn't that saying something about what his catalog really looks like? Because the other people he's compared to, their top 5 albums, none of them are 3.5s. Most of them are actually closer to 4.5s and 5s.
I suppose. I mean, yeah, I always have to say yeah.
So where is he all time after this album? Like where do you have him all time? Like where did you have him all time before this album? And does this album do anything for his placement to you, or do you already have him like so far up high that like I mean, there's really not nowhere for him to go?
For me, he was like top 4. For me,
Top what?
Yeah, for me, he was top 4.
Top 4. Who are the other 3?
It would be Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas.
So you really think that he's up there with those guys?
Rapping wise, yeah. We're talking about catalogs, no.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, rapping wise, I know he can rap with anybody, but how can he be with those guys? Like, he doesn't have a catalog that speaks deserving to be with those guys. Like, see, I think like you're talking about the rhyme skill. I'm talking about overall everything.
You're talking about overall everything. I would say he's top 10 then.
Top 10?
At 10. At 10.
At 10? Who would you have in? Who's your top 10?
My top 10 would be Wayne, Kendrick. Oh God, I'm sorry.
I've steered you wrong. I've steered you so wrong. I've steered you wrong. This is my fault. I'd like to apologize to everybody on Hip Hop Talks. This is my younger brother. He apparently didn't listen to shit that I said growing up.
I did, but we have different tastes in music though.
We do. I put Wayne borderline top 10. Kendrick and Eminem, no sir. Wayne, I have Wayne higher than I have Kendrick and M.
I'll put Nicki Minaj in there.
You're
so
wild.
I got Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, I got Wayne, I got Kendrick, I got Drake, even though he don't write his stuff. That's neither here nor there. He's a hit maker. I got Nicki. How many is that? That's 6, 7.
I haven't heard Tupac. This is wild.
No, because you Tupac's up there. Tupac's at 9 though.
At 9, you have Tupac at 9. You have Kendrick and M ahead of Pac.
No, M is at 10.
M is at 10.
Yeah, Kendrick's at 8.
How you get Nicki so high?
Nicki
and what makes Nicki better than Kim?
She's done it longer and better than Lil' Kim. I think she's done it better. Kim. I think she's done it better than her.
I'm glad that you're here because, like, even with the Nicki and Kim thing, generational.
Yeah, that's really what it is. We still got 10 years apart, man.
Yeah, you're 10 years younger than me. So like the hip hop world that you grew up in is different. Everybody, this is my brother Mike. We're 10 years apart. Hey, look here, RJ. Don't be saying my brother got bad taste. You can still catch a bad one on here. You can still shoot the fade with you. You need to watch the tone. I told y'all it's different when I moderate.
Not I got bad taste, man. Well, then I'm
Yeah.
really about to
Okay.
upset y'all. I'm really about to upset y'all. I think Tupac is overrated. That's why he's not in my top 5.
And this concludes this episode of Hip Hop Talks. I'd like to thank you for coming out, Mike. I'd like to thank you for ruining the platform and the program.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Well, hold on. I mean, here's the thing. When Pac died, you were 5.
That's also true.
You don't have Rakim or KRS-One or Kane or Cool G Rap and Slick Rick or any of those guys. People got jokes for you.
I can't read the chat. Otherwise, I'll be firing back.
No, you don't want to read the chat. They're pretty much telling you, but here's the thing too, Mike. I don't think our generation understands how your generation looks at things. Most of these people that are watching and that are commenting, they're closer to my age than your age. You know what I mean? So, but I don't know about the Pac thing though, Mike. Like the Pac thing, like you come from a generation where it's like, I can see why you have Kendrick and Wayne and Drake so high. Like that's literally what you came up on. But Pac still has more hits than all of those guys except Drake, and he's just a superior rapper and songmaker Drake, and a superior catalog, even in the short amount of time that he was here. So when you're saying Pac is overrated, what do you mean? I know you know Tupac because I've listened to Tupac.
I don't think lyrically he was that strong. I think he was a good storyteller. I think he was a good rapper. Yeah.
When you're saying lyrically strong, like
I don't think he's.
What is Dear Mama?
I don't think that's storytelling. That's more storytelling than anything. I don't think he changed I don't think he changed hip hop. I think he changed hip hop within the black culture itself. I think he made a change there. But hip hop as a whole, I don't feel like he changed. I feel like Biggie changed the way people looked at beats and bars and rapping and stuff. That's how I feel. So
but Mike,
who?
Big got his formula from Pac.
But
Big is using Pac's formula. So when you're saying Big, then it has to be Pac.
He is? I don't hear it, man. Within the stuff that I have heard from, I didn't hear the formula. But I do understand why you would feel the way you feel. I understand where you're coming from.
The formula is simple. It's make a street record, make a hit record, make a street record, make a hit record, rate something for the girls in between. Like that's Pac's formula.
I feel like Big. Go ahead.
So you feel like he's more important to the culture of black people than he's more important to hip hop, is what you're saying?
See, yes.
Explain that though. I don't even know how we got here. Damn you.
I'm sorry. I feel like his songs are more relatable to people who went through the struggle, but not everybody who struggled. So everybody's struggle is different, but I feel like for certain ones of us who had that mom that worked by herself, we didn't have no father figure yet. But everybody can't sit here and pull from that and relate to that. You know what I mean?
Yes, but not to be funny, Mike. You and I can.
Yeah, we can.
That's why I don't understand.
But I didn't hear a lot of Pac. I didn't start hearing Pac so much. I heard a lot of Nas from you. I didn't hear a lot of Pac until I got older, like in my 20s. I heard a lot of Big, Puffy. I heard a lot of that though. That's what in the time when we were growing up together, when you were in the house, that's what I listened to through your walls and stuff like that. Or when I was sneaking in your room. You always had Illmatic playing every morning.
These are facts.
Jay-Z occasionally, Biggie a lot. I didn't get to hear a lot of Pac until I grew up, but by then my opinions was already made. And I already knew what I liked and what I didn't like. I'm not saying, I never said he was trash. It's not like I'm like, oh, Pac trash. Nah, I'm not saying Pac trash. Pac ain't trash. Okay. I'm just saying like,
You might be more into the lyrics and the rhyme scheme and all those little nuances than I was. You know what I'm
I
saying?
am. I feel like I am, but I feel like I am, but certain stuff just doesn't appeal to me anymore or at all, even.
RJ, you and T2 got one more time. Yeah, I was bumping Pac. You want to know what's crazy, Mike? When you're saying that, I'm actually having a flashback. You want to know what? I used to listen to Pac a lot in my headphones and zone out to it. Like he was actually like my walk around music. Like remember when we lived in the hole?
Mm-hmm. That and Wu
Like
Tang.
yeah, Wu Tang's forever. But here's the thing: is that I never really noticed it till you say it. I didn't play Pac a lot in the house. He was my walk around the neighborhood music. He's what got me through the neighborhood. So I wasn't as apt to playing that like when I was in the house because that's usually what when I remember when I used to run around the neighborhood when I was in high school and shit. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I was running the Pac. Like when I would have to go somewhere late at night, I'd be playing Pac.
See, I never knew that, but I do remember that big case of CDs, and I do remember seeing all his stuff. A lot of Wu Tang, a lot of Wu Tang, ooh, a lot
A
of
lot
Wu
of
Tang.
yeah. I still got that book.
You do?
Yeah, it's still a lot of Wu Tang in there.
But I think my style. We also went through. We also, even though we came from the same house, we also lived different childhoods too.
That's fair.
So a lot of stuff, you know,
Yeah,
which I'm
I
not
was
getting
more.
too. Go
Well, you
ahead.
want to know? I'm the oldest, so I was more on a solo mission with mom. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? People are
Dear
joking. They
Mama.
think,
Dear Mama
yeah,
makes a lot. Yeah,
yeah. Dear Mama probably hits me differently than it hits you.
but it does. I know for a fact it does. You know.
Right. Well, you're a dad now, so that changes everything.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Um, I think he did a lot for the black community. I genuinely think he did a lot for the black community. But I think like I said, like when it comes to showing off and stuff lyrically and all that, it's other people that did it better around then. For me, anyways.
Yeah. Well, I
But
mean, you got Wayne and Kendrick and M ahead of him, so you obviously
M is not ahead of
okay.
him. But
Just it sounds like that's what you're trying to say.
nah, M would be in my top 10 at 10 though. But he is
Okay.
my favorite rapper too, though. So I don't want to. But I still try to judge him accordingly. You know what I mean? But also, I haven't been. I don't have a. I got an eclectic taste. I would say it's eclectic. I like what I like.
What rap albums have you listened to this year that you think are better than The Death of Slim Shady?
It's the thing. I haven't listened to no full albums cover to cover. This was the only one I sat down and this in the common junk, but this is the only album I sat down and listened to because I haven't been. I got 202, man. We've been our ass kicked by our kids on a daily basis.
Yeah, you got my niece and my nephew up in there.
Yeah. So I haven't had time to sit down and do anything music related wise, actually.
Do you think that it's more generational that you don't listen to albums the way that I do? Because usually I find that even when we get together, I'm still putting you on the albums. Like, have you heard such and such albums? And you're like, no. And I'm like, it'd be your generation rappers.
Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna lie. I don't like my generation rappers though. A lot of them are just at best.
That's how we feel.
That's how I feel about it. They're like so I don't listen to them. But I will admit that I have stopped. Like I fell off. I'm probably in a spot where I'm not so much in love with hip hop as I used to be. Like back when we used to have our sit backs at your house about 5-6 years ago. Well, maybe not 5-6 years ago. Yeah, about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And then when I was in college too, like I was really in love with hip hop then. But now it's like everything is really just it is what it is. The Drake and Kendrick beef is actually what got me start back wanting to care about hip hop again. I don't know if that's what they intended, but that's a whole nother conversation.
No. Let's have that convo right quick. What are your takes and your thoughts on the Kendrick and Drake beef? I mean, I'm assuming that you were of the train of thought that Kendrick won.
Yeah, but not like us.
What did he win for then?
I think Meet the Grams was that was some sinister shit, man.
Really? Do you think it was the timing of it or the actual record?
Both.
I think the
both.
timing. I think the timing is more. I think the timing of it is one of the best strategic hip hop moves in a diss battle ever, if not the best. It's the best strategic move I've ever seen. I'll say that about it. But I don't know if the record lands for me like that, because it's almost like, here's how I feel about it. It's like if Drake says something about Kendrick, oh well, it's not true. But if Kendrick says something about Drake, it's like, yep, spot on. All that's right. You think the industry tried to get rid of Drake? You think they're trying to get rid of Drake? Because it feels like, it feels like they having a Royal Rumble, and everybody in the Royal Rumble is talking behind stage about how like they gonna get Drake up off the ropes first.
I think I like the wrestling analogy. I think I don't agree with how Kendrick fans, because that's how Kendrick fans are thinking. Oh, everything Kendrick said is true. Everything Drake said is a lie.
That's
Nah,
why they suck.
I
That's
don't
why they
agree.
suck.
I don't agree with that. I think with the way he dropped his song 15 minutes after he dropped his song, and
It
the
was
fact that
brutal.
he was calling his son in that first verse, like, you would have to see me. You would have to see me. Like, you would have to come see me, or I would be coming to see you. Like, I would make you stand on that words, what you said in Euphoria. Like, we can do this. We can do this on the camera. I would have made you stand on that. That's how I personally feel as a father. You're not. It would. I don't know. I'd have handled it differently than Drake. Ain't no heart part 6. It's, fuck this beef. You got to see me. You have to see me now. You're not finna be calling my son's son on a track, bro. That's just, damn everything else. Just off the first verse alone, it was like, yeah, that was it for me.
So do you feel like Kendrick got too personal?
Yeah, he said he wanted him to die. Personal ain't the word that he. That's not the word. If there's a word closer than personal, that's what Kendrick did.
Well, let me ask you something. Why is he getting away with that from like people in hip hop circles? Because this is something that nobody's really discussed. And you make a very valid point when you're saying it's just nobody's talked about it literally at all. Like nobody's talked about it at all, including us here at Hip Hop Talks. So it's like, why is it? It's because people got on Drake for, the domestic abuse allegations, but nobody said anything about Kendrick talking to Drake's son in that manner.
The only reason I think, or I would like to say, I guess this is an excuse. This is gonna sound like this bullshit coming out my mouth, but only because he warned him. He did warn him. Your cousin just texted me, said we talking about Wayne. I'm screaming. AJ just texted me.
No, AJ, I said, well, glad he's feeling better.
I'll let him know. But I would say, well, he did warn him in Euphoria, right? He did warn him. He gave him fair warning. He said, if you're going to take it personal, he said, if you take it personal, I'm taking it further. That's something you don't want to do. But I think Drake, it was Drake's job to stand on that, not everybody viewing the beef from the outside. Like, but that's why I say I would have handled it differently than he did, as far as like after. Well, go ahead.
I mean, you're young. I mean, you might be younger than me, but I mean, like, taking the rap beef into personal territory cost Big and Pac their lives. You know what I'm saying? So do you feel like that maybe because of that happening, that maybe Drake didn't want to fan those flames, which is maybe why he kind of bowed out of this? Because I still don't totally believe that this is over.
I don't think it's over either. He bowed out for right now, though.
Yeah. Like, you're not about to sun me like that. Like, we not done. I mean, you know where we come from. It's like, oh no, we're gonna fight again. I'm gonna see you again, and we're gonna fight again.
Exactly. That's why I said, but I didn't think of it like that. But That actually makes sense. Now that you said that, you brought up Pac and Big, it got too personal, and that's how they died. Yeah, that actually that could be why Drake kind of just took a step back. I,
You know,
I wouldn't
um,
have took a step back though.
what do you think about J. Cole and all of this? Well, yeah, I know you. I know you're not taking a step back. What do you think about Cole and all of this? What do you think about Cole taking a step back?
I think Cole knew some foul shit was going to come up. If you want me to be honest, Cole knew something foul was going to come out. I think Kendrick maybe was like, "Hey, if this is what you want to do, you're going to be in the crosshairs. You're going to be on the same. I'm gonna be on the same shit with him that I am with you. I'm gonna be on the same shit with you that I am with him. Just letting you know."
Mike, my reply to that is so what? So what? Bring it on. You think?
Cole went,
Hold on.
Cole went up for the fight.
Do you think Cole and Kendrick would have been a better battle?
As far as relativity, because they're compared to each other
Do you
often.
think Cole is a comparable? You got Kendrick in your top 10? Where do you have Cole?
I'm not a Jermaine Cole fan. He's he's right there at 11.
You don't like Cole at all?
Nah, I love Cole's music. Cole makes great music, but Cole's not for me. He's just
Who is
not for me.
Cole? Who is Cole for?
The Jermaine witnesses all over the world.
I could say that about Eminem fans and Kendrick fans. They're worse than
You
Cole
can.
fans.
Stans and whatever Kendrick's fans are being called now.
I call them. I call them
I,
KKKs. Kung Fu. They are. They're part of the KKK. They're the new KKK. Kung Fu Kenny Crazy.
I like that. If you don't mind, I'll be right back. I'll just be right back.
That's cool. I'm gonna read this super chat. You go tend to my nephew or my niece. Ill Magic 199 with the super chat. Q was the one who stepped to Cole and warned him. Yeah, there are rumors that Q was at Dreamville and told Cole to step down, but that doesn't mean that you're supposed to step down. Like a man tell you to do something, you're just gonna do it just because he says so. Like it still feels like it seems like it was still industry propagated to me. And it's like even if Q came to Cole and told him that doesn't mean that you have to back down or back out of the album. I'm gonna circle back around right quick and give my rating for the Slim Shady, the Death of Slim Shady. I actually think it's a 3.52. I do think that it's better than a lot of the rap albums that I heard this year. I think that it's better than a lot of the stuff that's out there today. But I still have issues with his catalog overall because if we're giving him a 3.5 today, and this is a top 5 rap album for him, well, there's nobody else that's walking around that can say that they're considered to be an all-time great MC and the top 5 albums are 3.5. Like all the other greats that have 5 great albums, those albums are at least like the 5th album might be a 4, like on a bad day. So I don't totally agree with the premise that my younger and not as good looking and less educated brother is espousing right now. But we're gonna get to it. We got the Common and Pete Rock interview. RJ, if you feel like the album is lower than the 3.5, like explain to me why. Because I've been hard on him, but what we're not gonna do is be extra hard on him or critique him like differently. Like this is what I mean. Like the critique, I feel like is coming from a place of where publications have ranked him instead of what his honest ranking in. I think if we rate him more accurately, like all time where he belongs, which isn't in the top 10, but maybe in the top 20, definitely the top 25. 2.5 is wild. The production alone is a 3, guys. Like I don't hear anybody talking about his flow is dated. He's got different flows on there, RJ. Like y'all can't say that. Like I feel like also too, y'all are judging him against the standards of where he's been placed instead of judging him from where he is. He's a top 20 to 25 MC. No grown man content. I know that there's no grown man content. It's the death of an alter ego. Like the alter ego is childish. And I actually think one of the better parts of the album is the fact that it's like, well, he actually only really mentions his mother like 2 or 3 times. And that's got to be like a record low for an Eminem album. So there is some growth that's going on. I'm gonna go through a couple of these super chats right quick while I wait for my brother to get back from taking care. I know. Fly Shit Only. Scarface worst album is a 4 out of 5. Yeah, Fly Shit Only. I know. I know. Like, trust me. Like that's what I'm saying. Give me 1 second while I get to these super chats. My mere thoughts with the $9.99 super chat. We're about to get to yours right now. Give me 1 second, guys. My first time moderating. Technical difficulties. Blame the host. My mere thoughts with the $9.99 super chat. Hold on 1 second. Top albums of 2024. You got Common and Pete Rock, which we're going to get to. Schoolboy Q for Blue Lips. Rhapsody, Please Don't Cry. J. Cole might delete later. I don't agree. Future, We Don't Trust You is up there, as long as you're talking about the first one. Blue Lips by Q is up there. I think I agree with most of your list outside of the Jermaine Cole one. I think the Cole on our list didn't even make our top 10. I think it made like somewhere between 10 and 15, my mere thoughts. I don't know about that. I like the list, though. Give me 1 second. Let me get to these other super chats. Yeah. Ill Magic with another $1.99 super chat. The Drizzy Trailblazers have been going crazy. Yeah, that's just the way the game go, Ill Magic. I'm not even surprised at that. I will say this. I do think that Common and Pete Rock arguably may have made the album of the year. And we're going to talk about it in a minute. Make sure I got all these super chats down. And we can get to it. Great timing, bro. Oh, bro, you want to know what? While I got you here?
Yes, sir.
I need you to go listen to I Am God. I'm going to send you his album. I Am God's from Chicago. And he's the best new artist that I've heard since I've been doing all these podcasts. I gave the EMINEM album the same ranking as you, Mike. I gave it a 3.5. I just say you can't be top 10 with a top 5 album. This is his third best album, Mike, and it's a 3.5. How is he just in your top 10? Like, is he a top 10 lyricist to you, or is he a top 10 artist?
Oh, not a top 10 artist.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Mike. We're talking about the artist, not the lyricist.
Oh, well. Ugh.
Where do you have him all time, like with everybody included? Like, how about this? Like, do you think he's better than a Method Man, a Jada Kiss, a Black Thought? You think he's better than those guys?
No, I don't.
Okay. I just wanted to get some clarity. Let's go to the Pete Rock in Common album, The Auditorium. You got my niece or nephew right there?
I got your nephew with me.
Oh yeah, he's a handful like you were. Your thoughts, Mike, because the Common Pete Rock, The Auditorium is more for my generation, in my opinion. What did you think of the album? I'm more interested to hear what you have to say.
I felt like it was.
Huh?
I felt like it was more for your generation too. Just to be honest, I listened to it twice though. I liked it. But Common raps. Oh my god, Common rap. He can rap on any beat the same way. It doesn't matter what the beat is. He gonna fit his cadence into the bars that he needs to fit them into. But I liked it. It flowed. I love the beat selection. Those type of beats. I like those type of beats. It gave me a real '90s feel.
I think that's the vibe that they were going for. Do you like it better than the EMINEM?
No, not necessarily, but I think it has more playability. Like I only listened to the EMINEM album once. I listened to that album twice. I'm going on 3 times now.
I think Common and Pete Rock just made the album of the year so far. I don't think that it's perfect. I think it has some flaws, but it's the album of the year so far.
I like it a lot. It's just, I just felt like I was like, dang, this is just for Ahmad and his people. This is who this is.
Well, I mean, when you say my people, what exactly do you mean?
I mean, your age bracket, your generation of people, to be specific.
So you don't think that this album, just on a hip hop level, like you don't think these songs are good enough to kind of like transition into your generation? Like, is your generation not gonna feel this album the way I'm feeling this album right now?
My generation will, but the generation under us, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this. Where's the trap drums?" You know what I mean?
Where are the trap drums? It's a
That's what
Pete Rock album. There's not gonna be any trap drums.
That's that. I like the album. It's right up my alley. Like calm music, but it really gave us. He had a Chicago feel to it. Of course, he's from Chicago though, but he really embodied who he is as an artist. Common. He embodied who he is as an artist and put it into this track. That's how I mean this album. That's how I feel.
I think it's a great album. I really enjoyed it. I feel like it's his best mic performance since Finding Forever, which I think came out in like 2006. I don't think he sounded this good in 15 years.
Yeah.
I think Pete Rock's production on here is stellar. I feel like, and I said this on a previous show, Common is at his best when he's not responsible for the hooks. And Pete Rock did something that Kanye used to do for Comm, which is take care of all of the beats. I think this is a top 5 Common album too. I don't think that it's better than B or Like Water for Chocolate. I don't know if it has some of the high moments that Finding Forever has, but I could see this album sliding into his top 5 albums all the time.
You think it's gonna be album of the year?
I think it's album of the year so far. I do have some issues with it. Like my issue with this album is kind of some of similar thoughts with the M album. The mic performance is great, but the material in terms of what he is espousing is the same on this album too. He's just doing it much like M and Common albums are similar in terms of the fact, well, this is them doing what they do best, and they haven't done it this well in a long time.
Right. I agree.
But I do think it's the album of the year so far, but not by much. Like, how about this? Me, traditionally speaking, it's hard for me to say that an album is better than this because I don't know an album with better beats or better rhymes. And so I wish the album felt more classic to me, but it does feel like a great piece of work. And I'm kind of looking at this from the perspective that they're calling this the Auditorium Volume 1. And that means they're doing more. And so I feel like they haven't found their groove all the way yet. And so, like, just for us old heads, this kind of does remind me of when Nas and Hit Boy did the first King's Disease album. It's a really good project, but I think the best from them is actually yet to come. But my biggest issue with this album isn't the songs, because I think all the songs are dope. I think it's the actual sequencing of the album that needs some work. Like, I've reworked this album. I'm gonna put it out on Twitter and put it out on social media later. But I feel like some of these records that were in the back should have been in the front and vice versa, and they should have mixed this up more because it almost feels too soulful and too groovy, and I feel like the tempo needs to be kicked up a little bit. I agree. I agree with y'all about JID's feature being the feature of the year. By the way, like I think that is the best feature that I've heard this year. I can't think of a better one. Like JID really, really did his thing. Like I think JID on the M album, he really showed like big players play in big moments. He played big in that moment. Like people who don't know who JID is now in 42 different countries where this album is number 1 know who JID is now. And I think that's super important for his career, and I look forward to what he has next, especially if he has an album coming this year. Jermaine Cole still better make album of the year, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. What was your favorite song on the Common Pete Rock?
I can't remember the name of it, but it was definitely the first one. I can't
Dreaming?
remember. Yeah.
So this is why I want you to listen to I Am God. So I think next to I Am God's Wise Souls, and I Am God is out of Chicago too. I think this is the best start off to an album that I heard this year. And so
I like a good intro, man. It sets the tone for an album.
It does. Okay, so my problem with this album is that I feel like that they take some of the tone away immediately because they don't have records that back up how good Dreamin' is. And so on my playlist, the way I reworked it, first of all, I'm going to read out like the original track list, and then I'm going to read out how I reworked it. It goes Dreamin', Chi-Town, This Man, We're on Our Way, Fortunate, So Many People, Wise Up, There Is a God, Stellar. That 7 to 9 track run on Wise Up, There Is a God, and Stellar, that's the best stretch of the album. And so I don't want to hurt the stretch of the album, but I feel like they need to break it up and put some of these songs up front. And so it goes to Lonesome, All Kinds of Ideas, When the Sunshine, Everything So Grand, Now and then the outro. And I feel like it needs to read more like this. It needs to go Dreaming, All Kinds of Ideas needs to go second, Wise Up needs to go third. Wise Up is a Sixth Sense level record from him. Like the joint he did with DJ Premier back in the day. Like
Yeah.
Wise Up is at that level and it needs to go further up in the chat. This Man, Fortunate, There's a God, then Chi-Town Do It, Stellar, So Many People, We're on Our Way, Lonesome, Sunshine, Everything So Grand, and Now and Then. So I feel like they got the end of the album right, but I don't feel like they got the beginning of this album right. I don't. And I feel like it hurts because I feel like this should be the runaway album of the year, and I think the sequencing hurt the opportunity for it to do that. Like when I was thinking about Common's bar game, I was actually thinking about you today. Common kind of does, like he doesn't do what I like to call traditional rap metaphors. He's kind of like a lefty with his rap metaphors, and you know because you're a lefty, like it's different when you're left-handed. It's almost
Mhm.
like he rhymes like a lefty. Like his cadence and his flow and his delivery sometimes seem out of pocket, but it's still on beat. What do you think about his cadence and his flow on here? Because I felt like he used the same flows over and over, and I would like to see him switch it up.
I felt like he used the same flow. I felt like his wordplay was still good though. He I'm sorry. He had like I felt like he would set you up. I guess like a lefty, he would set you up to look this way, but then you end up looking this way.
Right, right. I think that's good, but I don't think that he. I think he needs to switch his flow up more in order for this to sound better. Tater Tots 00 with the $2 super chat says, Coop, listen to Joel and Crook's new album. It's better. I listened to it. I don't think it's better than the Common and Pete Rock, but I can understand why you feel that way. I can. I don't know if I put it at that high though. Like I think that this is an easy album of the year contender, even if you don't think it's album of the year. And I think that the Joel Ortiz and Crooked is like for a specific type of listener. That's really for the old heads. Jermaine Johnson with the $5 super chat says, excellent album, cohesive, nothing sounds out of place. This is the reason I love when MCs work with one producer for the entirety of a project. What'd you think about the beats, Mike? Do you think Common could have used some different production on here? Did you like what Pete Rock did with the production?
I like what Pete Rock did with the production. It gave a Kanye feel, if I'm just being honest, which was
Do you
probably
think
what
that
Common was going for. It probably felt familiar to him because it did have a Kanye type feel, not new Kanye, old Kanye, to be specific.
who is new Kanye?
Who was new
We got a
Kanye?
couple more. Yeah, what does new Kanye mean?
Uh, like I guess good music Kanye. Before I'm talking about when I say old Kanye, I mean graduation, college dropout. Here you go. That type of feel.
Okay, we got Brandon Sloan with the $10 holla. Hold on 1 second, Brandon, while I get to your super chat. The allegation about Drake because he kissed a 17-year-old on stage. Oh, we not doing that. Like we doing that? We really doing that? I don't even want to read the rest of that. Okay, Sloan, I'm gonna read the rest of your chat, but it was a known thing with proof. Dot's allegations. Yeah. We not doing that. They're both out of character. That's the thing about a battle people don't understand. Battles gets people out of character. This is evidence. Jermaine Johnson with another $5 super chat. This is evidence that working in the studio together is important. No emailed verses. Oh, Mike, how did you feel about the cohesion of the project? Do you feel like Pete Rock and Common were together for this project? Does it sound like a cohesive piece of work to you?
It sounds cohesive. It just sounds like certain tracks should be switched around. I think everything feels like it came from the same person, that they did it sitting down together. But it's just, for me, it's the same thing as the Marshall Mathers album too. It's just the track listing. It need to be switched around. That's all. Because you can't start strong and then mid your way to the high point of the album.
Fly shit only. I hear you. That's why I put your chat up. But look, man, the girl has come out and said that it wasn't like that. Like, what more do y'all want? You know what I'm saying? This ain't an R. Kelly situation where you got girls that literally been trapped in the closet, running out the room like screaming with their hair on fire. Like, the girl said that there's nothing to it. So what more do you want, like, to feel comfortable? Meanwhile, like, the allegations that Drake placed against Kendrick. See, this is why I don't want to do this. The allegations being placed against Kendrick, nobody wants to address, but we spending all of our time addressing the Drake allegations. It's like, and on either side, no side is pretty. And so it's just better to let them duke it out on the mic. Mike, what would you rate the Common and the Pete Rock? And what's your favorite joint?
You asked me that one. That was the intro. I do like Stellar, though. Stellar's my second favorite.
I think Stellar might be the best mic performance on the album.
4. 4.5, actually. Overall, 4.5.
You think it's a 4.5? So you personally like the M better, but objectively you're rating the Common and Pete Rock higher. Is that my man? Look at my guy.
Yeah. I ain't gonna be biased just because he's my favorite rapper. You know that. He could have did better.
Where do you have Common? Where do you have Common all time? How high is Common for you?
He's like in the 15 category. I'm gonna write a list out for you one day, so you can see it.
You ain't gonna do that.
I am. I'm gonna write a list out for you, and then we can talk about it.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you this. So you have Common in your top 15. Is this the type of album that can get him to your top 10, maybe?
Yeah, I would say that.
Well, that's what. Go ahead.
No, what were you about to say?
Well, that's why I think this album is important. I think this album is important because I think it changes his placement a little bit. I would have to slide him a couple of notches up after listening to this product. But there are some things that he needs to do, like his flow and cadence needs to be better on the next album. And he needs to do some hooks because great MCs still need to come with hooks. Like I said, I feel like it's a way better album than the M album, but him and M have some of the same issues, and that's the pocket that they're flowing in because they're comfortable and used to flowing in it. And I'm not saying that what they're talking about is outdated. It's just we've heard them go through that material before. Is he hungry?
No,
Feed him, man.
He's just being bad. I've been feeding him. He's just banging his bottle because he like to make noise.
That's hereditary.
You said that's hereditary.
Yeah. Tell my nephew he's on Hip Hop Talks to take the bottle. Chill out. Any more thoughts about the Common Pete Rock, Mike?
No, sir. I surprisingly like the album more than I thought I was going to.
Well, you grew up with me some, so like that's how that goes.
Like I was like I said, I'm on my third listen to it now, so I obviously like it. So,
have you heard any of LL's new stuff, Mike?
I tried to find it. I couldn't find it.
I actually named this episode Saturday Night Special after his new track with Q-Tip. I think it's the beat of the year so far. But he just dropped another record too, and it's sounding great. You need to go check out the L. Yeah, I saw the new LL song, Darren Harris. It is fire. The track list does look amazing. They're 2 for 2 right now. And that's looking like, I mean, I never thought I would say this in 2024. I mean, if LL and Q-Tip keep at this pace, they got an album of the year contender on their hands. Because I actually like Saturday Night Special. That's one of my favorite rap records this year, Mike. You really need to dig
Saturday Night
into
Special.
it. Yeah, that's why I call this episode Saturday Night Special. It's actually paying homage to the record because the record is really, really like that. I haven't seen the track listing, Darren. I need to check out the track listing. I've been like literally listening to Eminem Common for like the last 2 days. So it's been a lot of knowledge and a lot of fuckery. So, album of the year, Common Pete Rock. What do the people say? I want to know from the chat if this is the album of the year. You know what I mean? I know we're so quick to judge and so quick to jump. I feel like this is the best product of beats and rhymes this year. But I also feel like there's something about Rhapsody's album for me, Mike, that feels more coherent and flowing than both of these albums. And so I don't know that this Common and Pete Rock, like, how about this? I think it's album of the year right now, but I don't think that it's going to hold. Like, I need to listen to this album some more. What up, Jarv? I see Jarv in the chat. What up, Jarv? I don't think it's going to hold. The mic performance doesn't hold up to repeated listens. I think Common's mic performance on here is fine. I think it's okay. Like, when I'm talking mic performance, I'm talking about like your content, your lyrics, your subject matter. I think all of that is there. I think it's just 2024, and so he's going to have to switch his flow up, which means Pete Rock may have to give him some beats. Like, me and AG, my man AG, shout out to AG. Me and AG were talking behind the scenes. One of the cool things about this Common and Pete Rock is that there's about 4 beats on here that play at the end of songs that actually sound like he should be rapping on those beats. And shout out to AG for pointing that out. End of Wise Up, Lonesome, all kinds of ideas, and When the Sunshine all has like different beats that I feel like might even be better than some of the beats that were on this album. What'd you think about the beats that he didn't rap on that were at the end of the songs, Mike?
Those are the kind of that in my mind, those are the beats he should have rapped on.
Yeah.
I kind of was expecting that, like an interlude type thing at the end of a song.
AG felt the same way. He was like, some of these beats, he should be rapping on these beats instead of some of the other beats that he chose. And I reminded AG, I was like, well, this is only volume 1. And so, like, just for me, just to prognosticate, I think the outro of the Auditorium volume 1 is going to be the start off of the Auditorium volume 2, beat wise. And I think some of these records, like on some Meth vs. Chef off to Cal type shit, is like we're going to hear the beats later on later projects. And so I don't want to hold. Yeah, see, we're getting mixed thoughts on the Common. Some people love the Common. Some people think that it's like too dense and too slow. I would have liked 1 or 2 more up-tempo joints. But I do think it's probably the album of the year thus far. But this has been a really good year, not a great year. And this is a really good album, you know? Eminem is not the Antichrist, Cygnus. It's not the Antichrist. It's ridiculous. You're better off not reading the chat, Mike. I'll talk to you about it later, but the people in the chat are wild. They can't be contained ever. What do you think about the clips dropping this year, Mike? Clips are coming this year.
Oh, that's something I'll keep an ear out for.
Yeah, they got a Nas feature. They got a Nas joint on there, they said.
Malice?
What do you think? Yeah, what do you think about Pusha T? It's no Malice now. What do you think?
Yeah, I know it's no Malice now.
Well, maybe it might go back to being Malice again. I don't know.
I love Pusha T. I always try to listen to his stuff.
Hey, let me ask you something. What did Kendrick do that Pusha T didn't do?
Kept going.
You don't think Pusha T kept going?
Nah, Pusha stopped. Pusha stopped. He proved his point and he stopped. I think Kendrick was like, nah, we're here, so I'm going to keep on stepping over. I think Pusha did what he wanted to do. He proved his point. Drake bowed out. After making it personal, Drake bowed out. Drake made it personal first. Then Drake bowed
Did
out.
Kendrick do anything to Drake that Pusha T didn't already do though?
No. I don't think so. I think I had more shock value from Pusha story Adidon, but I think all Kendrick did was just emphasize that he doesn't like him.
Oh, you think it's more personal?
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite lines on Euphoria is, "I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, hate the way that you dress."
See, that's the stuff that I don't like. I don't like that. Yeah, I
As
know,
far,
Dick. Go
as
ahead.
far as the song, you don't
Yeah,
like it, or as far as the beef?
I don't. I mean, first of all, I don't think Euphoria is that great. But when Kendrick talks like that, it's like, nah, that's not the Kendrick that I feel. So I
Well,
wasn't saying so
you just
much of
said earlier it was a beef. They both got out of character, and
right.
they've been
That's
holding.
what I'm saying. Like that part of Kendrick's character, it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just different when you hear Kendrick talk about hating something. It's like, when does Kendrick ever use the word hate? Part of the black hippies,
he hate that light skinned dude. That's all we know.
all that original black man talk. But anyway, we're about to get up out of here. So, Mike, I'm gonna tell you what. I actually have the same reviews that you have, even though you and I have different tastes. I'm giving the EMINEM a 3.5, and I'm giving the Common a 4.5. But I tentatively might want to change that. I'm with you. Hell Hath No Fury is a top 40 rap album. I think it might be closer to a 4.25 than a 4.5. I want to hear it some more because, like, my thing with these beats, first of all, for Darren Harris, oh, it's Malice again. Never mind, Mike. Darren Harris just let us know he changed his name back to Malice. So I guess it's like when Mace came back and started rapping. I don't know.
Well, I look forward to the album. I didn't know we could 4.25. I can see that.
Like maybe I'm thinking that, like, so the Pete Rock production on here is great, but I would have liked if he would have challenged Common more. I felt like he kind of appeased Common's skill and style and taste, which is what a good producer does. But a producer is also supposed to challenge you, and I don't feel like Common gets challenged on this album. But I also don't think he's made anything this good in a long time either. And so I think the balance has got to be somewhere in between that. Of like, I think, as crazy as it seems, because I do think this might be one of Common's 5 best projects. I think he can do better. We got an
Yeah,
Eminem fan in here. M's already streamed 100 mil. That's crazy.
I can see that.
What do you think about Eminem's numbers? Like, do you think that it's just his name? Do you think that this is a quality product this is going to hold?
I hope it's a quality product. I think it's, like I said earlier, I think it's familiarity. So his name, yeah, but definitely familiarity. And I think a lot more haters are listening to it this go around than ever before.
I'm about to say, do you think people listen to Eminem just so they can hate on him? Because he seems to think so.
I think so too.
Why would you
Uh,
listen to somebody just to hate on him?
I don't have an answer for that because if I don't like him, I'm not playing him. But like literally, like I said, I hopped on TikTok. There's like 4 or 5 lives talking about Eminem's album, and not today. I'm talking about the day it dropped, and I'm like, but the caption is Eminem sucks, Eminem's trash, Eminem's overrated. So it's like, if you feel this way, why are you even spending time putting money in this man's pocket? Why are you wasting time even talking about him? Because I wouldn't do that. If I had a platform, I wouldn't. If I had a platform, I wouldn't waste time talking about somebody I don't like. I'm not fond of. You know what I mean?
I think some
But
platforms have actually done that.
within doing that, you also get people to come to your platform, though, which he stated in one of his songs. You bring up my name, you get a few likes.
He moves the meter. He moves the meter like nobody's business, even more than Drake. I mean, 100 million streams in what? Where are we at? It's 9:30. It's 8:30 your time. It just came out at midnight on Friday. Hadn't even been a full 48 hours. He's at 100 million streams. That's saying something. He's moving some needle somewhere. You know, a lot of people overseas like hit me up and remind me that it's like, well, we have people outside of this country that are big Eminem fans, you know? And so I think there's like two takes on M. There's who M is like inside of the United States, and then there's who M is like to the rest of the world, because to a lot of the rest of the world, he is considered to be like a cultural and a hip hop icon, maybe more so here. Like I have people who hit me up like in Africa and in London and Australia, and it's like, nah, bro, like you're tripping. Like Eminem is great. And I'm like, I never said he wasn't great. I just don't have him in my top 10 or top 15. Actually, I got Kendrick higher than him.
That's true. All right. I think we're done here, brother.
Yeah, you got to get my nephew out of here. He's about to terrorize you.
Yeah, it's past his bedtime.
Well, go ahead and put him down. I'm going to wrap the show up, Mike. I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate you being on for the Saturday night special.
I appreciate you having us.
Take care of my niece and my nephews, please.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Don't let him break that table.
He's not. Because that's going to be my ass.
Big boy, he's solid.
30 pounds.
Woo. Yeah, you have fun with that.
Yeah. Finna go try to get him down now.
All right, Mike. I appreciate you. Yeah, anytime, bro.
All right.
I'll be up there soon.
All right. We'll get together.
I just got put on non-report, my G. Time to travel again.
We'll set up logistics. Text me, all right?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you, fam.
All right.
Peace, King. Yo, people. Appreciate everybody coming out. I want to wrap up with a couple of things right quick. You know, Eminem moving the meter is something that does bring more attention to hip hop. Yeah, JID with the Dr. Dre beat would be crazy. I think JID is actually the biggest winner from all the album and from all the stuff that I heard, because it's like I think Common and Pete Rock have their fan base. Eminem has the globe at the tip of his fingers, but JID actually with that feature just literally got into 100 million streams for people who didn't even know who he was. And so like I'm excited for him. I hope this leads to greater and bigger things for him. Make sure everybody click like and subscribe to the page. We appreciate you coming out for the Saturday night special. Sean and AG, peace to y'all, peace kings. We'll be back at our normal time on Thursday. We got brunch on Sundays coming soon more regularly. We're still working out the logistics of that. You know, brothers got lives, got things to do like Sean and AG did this weekend. But the team's going to be back in effect next Thursday. We got another interview coming down the pipeline. I don't want to give too much away too much soon. Be looking out for the promo for the new artist. And just real quick before I go, I want to send a special shout out to Synergy PR Services. Shout out to Clarissa, Deja, and Jaria. For those of you who know who supermodel Jessica White is, I actually got to go down to Buckhead today and meet her. And so my interview with Jessica White should be going up soon after that sucker that came down from TMZ actually gets to release his footage. But be looking out for my interview with Jessica White. I just had a quick little powwow and sit down. If you don't know who Jessica White is, she's a supermodel actually from Buffalo, New York. We talked to Lil Griselda. We talked to Lil Pharrell and Jay. We talked about her new show, Bombshell Academy. Yeah, we're building blocks over here. So be looking out for my interview with Jessica White. Be looking out for our big interview we got coming up next Thursday. We got tons of stuff in the pipeline. We got other correspondents and other people are going to be coming on soon. I got some of my people in Charlotte that's going to be coming on soon. We're bringing Sade onto the team. She's going to be coming soon. And we're just going to be building out the channel and continuing to grow. Click like and subscribe and get us to 1,500 subs. I want to see 1,500 subs when I wake up. I know it can be done. Peace to everybody in the chat. Peace to everybody coming out. The Death of Slim Shady's getting a 3.5 for Hip Hop Talks. The Common and Pete Rock now tentatively getting a 4.25. Darren Harris. We got a Nas feature on the LL album. So Nas is doing a feature run, it seems like. He's going to be on Clip's album. He's going to be on his LL album. But are we getting a DJ Premier and Nas album this year? I don't think that we're getting a DJ Premier and Nas album this year. I want to see how it's actually going to happen, like logistically, because he's celebrating the 30th anniversary of Illmatic. And for me, when you are celebrating arguably the greatest hip hop album of all time, I think it's maybe be hard for you to release a project in the year, September. Preem and Nas in September. I need to hear more material, man. We already in mid-July, and it's hotter than July out here in these streets. We got these older cats dropping dope projects, and I'm not saying that they can't come with it. I'm just saying, like, Define My Name. Define My Name is not gonna cut it for me. I think it's just a good record. I hope it's just a nice little spin and a one-off to whet people's appetite. I feel like Nas's bars are there. I feel like the Preem beat could be better. Like Preem has done better beats for other people recently. And so we'll see what happens. We still got a Clips album in the pipeline. It looks like that LL album is gonna be fire. I'm excited about the LL album now. Who Got a Baby by Nick Cannon? Yeah, we can't talk about the woulda, shoulda, coulda. Like, people understand this is like Nas and Preem have literally known each other since they were like damn near teenagers. And I think Preem's case, early 20s. I think he's a little older than Nas. And so, like, dudes got lives, and so it's hard to put these projects together. You know what I'm saying? Part of what I liked about the Nas and Hit Parents so much, well, they were in studio together a lot, actually, like in a bunker, getting the work done. I do feel like that the best authentic material and the best players get made that way. So we'll see if the Nas Primo album comes. But even if it doesn't come, we got plenty coming up. Kendrick had to get some attention by dissing Drake, so he's coming. You guys are the worst fan base ever, so he's gonna stream. He's not gonna stream like M, but he's gonna stream. Jermaine Cole still needs to drop an album. Clips album's on the way. Hopefully a Nas and Preem. So it's still shaping up to be a good year. The JID verse made me excited about JID's album potentially coming out this year. So I think we got a lot of stuff in the pipeline coming soon. And just be on the tune and be on the lookout. Hip Hop Talks. Click like and subscribe to the page. Get us to 1,500 before the day is done, please. Check us out on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We're about to be all over socials, all up in your face like we're supposed to. We're pulling up every day. It's like I said the other day, the best ability, availability. So I was available today. I didn't want to wait till Sunday to review this album. Everybody's kind of put their 2 cents in. These are ours. When we do pull back up on Thursday, we're going to formalize the review because, it's not fair for me to give the full review and give the full Hip Hop Talks rating without my full Hip Hop Talks team. So we're going to have to combine AG's score, my score, Sean's score. We'll have a little bit more time to dig on the albums and see. I'm excited to hear AG's thoughts about Eminem. He's an Eminem fan like my brother, so I want to hear what his breakdown is of this. I did find the rhetoric to be entertaining, although I feel like he's done it before. I feel Common's rhetoric to be profound and entertaining, although he's done it before. I feel like M displayed a lot of different flows, but they weren't flows that we hadn't heard him pull off before. And so I think for both of these guys to continue to exist in the climate, they're just gonna have to put in more work and like change up the bar style and change up the beats a little bit. I think the Auditorium 2, whenever it comes out, is probably going to be a superior version to the Auditorium 1, very similar to King's Disease 2 was superior to King's Disease 1, although it had some joints. I do see a lot of similarities between the two. One thing that I really noticed about Common on this album is that Common is one of those rappers, and Nas and Pac are in this category. And I guess in some ways Kendrick is too. Well, not in some ways, Kendrick is too. They're actually better when they're vulnerable at times because they really don't lose anything when they share their vulnerability about what they see. They're very good at orating like what goes on in our communities. And when he touches that level, oh, Darren, you were just talking about Jessica White. I just met Jessica White today. I'm gonna post a picture. I think the picture's already up on Facebook and on Instagram, but I'm gonna post one on Twitter. She came in 5-inch heels today, so it looked like she's like standing down on me. I was like, you couldn't tell me you was wearing 5-inch heels today? But yeah, I just met Jessica White today. She's a Buffalo native. She actually told me something. Well, I'm gonna save it. You got to see the interview. As soon as TMZ has the rights to release it first. They're releasing it tonight, and then I get to release it tomorrow. Shout out to everybody at TMZ, but that guy who showed up today. He was awful. But TMZ, they got the game on lock in a lot of ways, so they get to scoop it first. But I was up in there with Jessica White today. She's got some dope stuff going on. Synergy, Clarissa, and everybody plugged me in. Shout out to Clarissa. Shout out to Lenny. Shout out to Deja Jar again. We're doing great over here at Hip Hop Talks. We got interviews in the pipeline coming from all ways and all angles. We're still working on a couple things that we always promised y'all and already promised y'all. So just be on the lookout for us. We're coming soon. All right, CJ the Kid. What up, CJ? $5 super chat. Bless you, Coop. Bless you too, brother. Hope everything is okay with you as always. Peace, King. Peace and love. I'm going to speak again in Toastmasters soon. Much love. CJ, brother, keep doing your thing, man. Keep speaking to the people. Toastmasters is great. My boss at the airport actually did Toastmasters, and she's one of the best leaders that I've ever worked under. Like, she was a great figure and coach, and she actually speaks to Toastmasters, helping her achieve that level of leadership. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hope everybody enjoys their Saturday night. This is Coop signing off for Hip Hop Talks. Appreciate all the love and support. Make sure you click like and subscribe to our page. Don't just pull up on us and not click like and subscribe. Help get us there. We're growing fast. I've actually built out 2 pod formats before, and this has been the fastest growth and development. It's all because of y'all. So outside of all the jokes and all the debates and all the not getting along, I do appreciate all of you. All of you except for you Kendrick fans, because you're the worst fans ever, and somebody needs to tell you the truth about yourselves. I told you, Kendrick's not the problem. You're the problem. Have a blessed night, and me, Sean, and AG will see y'all next Thursday. Peace.